Hi, my name is MK. I'm the founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms or FH Moms. What we do is we help Filipino mothers inside and outside the Philippines to get an online job, and now we are expanding to helping more Filipino mothers without access to the internet by giving them home-based livelihood opportunities.
Before kasi kami na nag-home-based job, parang living paycheck to paycheck kami. Sahod niya, oy, hati na agad yan, yung matitira. Or nung nag-home-based na kami, doon nakapag-ipon na kami. Nakapag-church wedding kami. Tapos nagkaroon na kami ng savings. Nagkaroon na rin kami ng investments, tsaka insurance. Nakapag-bili na rin kami ng house.
Dito kasi sa pag nagtrabaho kami sa bahay, mas maraming time na sa kids, sa kanya. Kaya, ayun. Hanggang ngayon, masaya pa rin naman ako sa pag-online job.
Since sobrang hirap, importante ko na talaga yung talim ng job, na-experience ko na rin yung discrimination sa work. Until October 2018, I was invited to be an inspirational speaker, and you were one of them. So yun, na-meet kita. And then doon ako natigil, Mami. Doon na talaga doon na ako pinasok talaga yung mundo ng pag-work. You gave me hope. I remember yung experience ko sa isang company na discriminate ko. I got projects, I got freelance job, naging ambassador sa isang company. So those are some things na natutunan ko sa office.
Nag-join ako ng FH Moms last 2017 and that was the first year na nag-transition ako from corporate to working from home. So, nakita ko to sa Facebook as a mommy community for, like freelancers. So, that's why I joined. For me, FH Moms is really like a blessing. The group or this community made me realize my calling as a teacher. It's an honor to be part of this group, to impart what I know, and help other mothers out there as part of the goal of FH Moms. So, go for it.
In my job, there are many tasks. There are so many things that needs to be done in front of the computer. There's a lot of forms, paperwork, and also a lot of research. At the same time, being an event planner, I'm always on the go. And as a new company, it's also challenging whether should I hire an employee, like a regular employee, or should I just get somebody that's on call. Now, this is where FH Moms came in, like God said. So when I hired one of the wonderful FH Mom members with the name of Katie, I was able to communicate to her what I envisioned my business to be, and she helped me to create a very positive branding of my business. So I would say having FH Moms as a support system for my business has been the best decision that I have ever made.
I'm glad to I'm glad to be given this opportunity again to share with you. I shared this same webinar last month, and I'm thankful to MK and to the whole team of FH Moms and to the whole community for allowing me to share it again this month, because I believe that this is something that will help every aspiring mom out there who wants to build a career online. So, yeah, without further ado, by the way, my name is Jennette Cajucom. I'll just share more about myself in a bit, because I am more excited to share with you. To share with you what I know about crafting your personal brand story, so that you can take action and build your online career using the power of crafting a personal brand. But before I go into that, sana safe kayo dyan. I know with the recent events of the typhoon, medyo na nakakalungkot para pero sana naman yung mga ibang nasalanta sa bagyo ay matulungan natin matulungan natin sa paraang makakaya natin. Doon naman sa mga hindi naapektuhan, please just continue to stay indoors because don't forget may pandemic pa din tayo ngayon. So, as I was saying, I'll get into the topic for tonight. So yeah, just sit back, relax. You can take notes if you want, but just the same, I think this will also be replayed. But yeah, if you're the type who loves to take notes, by all means, do so. Okay, so let me now share my screen. Okay, so yeah, I have a few questions first to ask of you. First is, do you believe that you have a brand? You as a person, do you believe that you have a brand? Okay. And then next is, do you also believe that it's important nowadays to build your brand online now that we live in this ever evolving and fast paced digital world? And then another is, do you know that if you want to have a compelling and powerful brand, you need to have a story? Okay, so think about that. Okay, so according to entrepreneur.com, of all the recruiters around the world, at least 90% of them um, uh, look up potential candidates online, meaning if they want to shortlist candidates, they don't just based on the resumes that were submitted to them, but they also look them up online, meaning they look for information about them online. And on the other hand, of all the business decision makers, CEOs around the world, at least 84% of them um, base their decision, whether it's um, hiring someone or partnering with someone, they base their decision through referrals. And immediately after they get a referral, they immediately look them up online. Okay, so that's just a few things to think about given the statistics that I've shown you. Okay, next up. Okay, let me just back up a bit. Sumobra yung pindot. Okay, so this time naman, what you see right now is a pie that shows the the number of internet users who search for information online. So it says there that 65% daw of the internet users trust the information that they see online, whether it's about it's about a product or service or about a person. 65% daw yan. And then another thing, according to ceohangout.com, 82% of 82% trust companies when senior executives are on social media, meaning they trust not really um, the company itself, um, but it's more of the executives, meaning if the people, especially the senior executives that work for that company or a particular brand, if they are online, 82% of them daw, they trust companies when senior executives are on social media. And then 77% naman daw of the consumers would most likely buy if they learn that CEOs are on social media, which I guess makes sense because a lot of famous CEOs nowadays are really active on social media. I mean, of course, the famous ones we all know. There's Elon Musk, Bill Gates, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook. So a lot of them really take the time to be visible through social media because they are aware that consumers would most likely buy from them, whether they're offering a product or a service, if they have a social media presence. Okay. Okay. Let me back up a bit again. And then, according to quantified communications, research shows that messages delivered as stories can be up to 22 times more memorable than just facts. And it makes sense kasi 'di ba pag binombard tayo ng puro information, data, facts, we tend to we tend to forget them kasi they don't make sense because they're just raw data, 'di ba? But then if they are delivered or presented as stories, mas nare-retain sa atin. Okay? And I mean, hence the topic that we have tonight, which is craft your personal brand story. And then, by the way, do you also know that with the skills that you have gained during this pandemic, I mean, let's face it, because we cannot we cannot go out because of the current global health crisis, global health situation. For the past months, we take advantage of the free webinar, free online courses. Yung iba pa nga dyan, di ba, may certification. But if you think about it, if we are going to use the new skills that we have learned, if we are going to use the certificates that we have earned, um, it would also it's also important that we build our personal brand so that we will eventually be known for that new skill. Okay, so again, my name is Jennette Cajucom, but you can call me Jen. Welcome to tonight's topic, how to craft your personal brand story. This, I believe, is a must for freelancers, solopreneurs, or entrepreneurs, and even business owners who are trying to stand out in today's digital era. Okay? So, what you learn are three things. So, you learn first what personal branding is, why your personal brand should have a story, and lastly, how you can craft your personal brand story. Now, first things first, let's um, let's touch a little bit about personal branding. Some of you may already have a basic understanding of what personal branding is. So let me just go through it real quick. Okay. But before I do that, I'd like to ask you first a question. Okay. So as you can see there, how do you think people perceive you, and how do you present yourself to opportunities? Again, how do you think people perceive you, and how do you present yourself to opportunities? Okay. And then another thing, I'd like you now, this time, if you have not done it yet, I mean, I believe that for those who already know the concept of personal branding, they might have already done this. But for those of you who have zero knowledge, or who have yet to know what personal branding is, I want you to do me a favor and just, type, go to Google and then type your name and then see what results would come up. For sure, andyan yung madidiscover nyo. If this is the first time that you're gonna do it, madidiscover nyo na meron pala kayong kapangalan, 'di ba? And then madidiscover nyo rin kung saang mga sites lumalabas yung mga names nyo. I mean, if you're if you're on Facebook, malamang lalabas yung Facebook, yung link ng Facebook account nyo. If you're on LinkedIn, most likely that would come up in the first page of the Google results. So just try to see. Go ahead, type your name in Google and see what results would come up. Okay? So go ahead. Okay, let me check first. Let's see kung may comments. Okay. So for those who were for those who went ahead and typed their name in Google, may I just ask, meron ba kayong na-discover? Kung na-discover nyo ba, I mean, kung meron kayong mga kapangalan? Diba? Let's see. Yeah, hi, Sol. Yeah, watching from Oriental Mindoro. Yes, and there's also someone watching from Bukidnon, Jan. Okay? So, let me know, meron ba kayong na-discover na mga nakapangalan ninyo when you typed your name in Google? Okay, FJ, watching from Marinduque. Good evening also to Weng. Okay, Chang, good evening as well. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so after you typed your name in Google, I now have a question to ask you. If you were a client or an employer or a customer, would you hire or buy from yourself based on the results that you see in Google? Think about that. Not based on how you know yourself, but based on the Google results that you just saw. Okay. So again, if you were a client, would you hire yourself based on the results that you see? Okay. Let's see. Let's see who would like to share their answers. Please just comment.
That was the first year
Okay. Okay, so yeah, think about that, Okay. I have yet to babalikan ko yung mga nag-comment, Okay, so moving forward, let's now get into personal branding. I just had to ask a few questions and do that Google activity with you just so I could get a baseline, no? Um, Instead of just immediately going into the definition and overview of personal branding. Okay, so going back to personal branding. Now, your own brand or your personal brand is something that you have either consciously or unconsciously created. Meaning by default, whether we like it or not, meron daw tayong personal brand. So it means that whatever it is that we show, how we project ourselves, how we interact, how we deal with people, whether offline or online, already mix up our personal brand. As far as our online activities are concerned, whatever we post online, Even the comments that we put on other posts also reflects what our personal brand is. Kasi nga, by default, meron tayo ng personal brand because whatever activity that we do, whether offline or online, nagkakaroon ng perception sa atin ang ibang tao. So, now the question here is based from that insight, the question that we should be asking ourselves is, would we rather be labeled by other people, or would we rather take control, um, take control of our own personal brand and build it, diba? Okay, so think about that. So would you just let people create an impression of you, or would you, you know, as I said, would you rather take control and build your own brand, especially now that we live in a digital era where we can, we can build relationships with people, whether in the form of clients, diba? Or even business partners, collaborators, online, diba? Okay. Now, the concept of personal branding, this is actually not new. This has been conceptualized by an expert by the name of Tom Peters back in the late 90s when he wrote this article called A Brand Called You on fastcompany.com. And here is an excerpt from that article. He said that regardless of age, regardless of position, regardless of the business we happen to be in, all of us need to understand the importance of branding. We are CEOs of our own companies called Me Incorporated. That means I have a Me Incorporated. MK has her own Me Incorporated. You, who's watching right now, you have your own Me Incorporated. Even your, even your client, if you have a client, they have, each of them have, has their own Me Incorporated. And to be in business today, our most important job is to be head marketer for the brand called you. Okay? So, yeah, think about that. I mean, we've already gotten used, or often associated the word brand to a product or a company. Pero meron palang tinatawag na personal brand or personal branding, and that has been in existence since the late 90s pa. But more and more people around the world are embracing it because a lot of us are dependent now on the digital technology, on the internet specifically, and most especially now, dahil sa may pandemic, we can't go out, 'di ba? Lalo na ngayon nagiging importante yung online visibility. And by that I mean you just don't have to be you you just don't have I'm what am I trying to say? Ayun, hindi ka lang dapat visible online, dapat meron kang personal brand. Okay? And last insight, people would rather deal with people than businesses. And this is probably one of the most important reasons why each of us have to have, or have to make a conscious effort to build our own personal brand. The simplest analogy that I can give here, especially tayong mga babae, diba? I'm pretty sure nung wala pang pandemic, meron kayong mga go-to salon, especially mga mommies. Meron dyan siguro, they prefer to go to the salon rather than ask for home service para 'di ba magkaroon naman ng me time para naman makalabas, 'di ba? Ngayon ang question ko, when you go to a salon, most likely, 'di ba, meron na kayong either yung go-to stylist nyo, 'di ba? Yung go-to stylist nyo 'yon or favorite stylist nyo 'yon kasi alam na kung ano yung gusto nyong style ng buhok, alam na kung anong gustong type ng trim ng buhok simply because alam kung ano yung magma-match sa face nyo, alam din kung ano yung preference nyo at kabisado na kayo, di ba? The question is, let's say that stylist um, left that salon and transferred to another salon that's also within that area. Let's say nagtayo siya ng sarili niya or nagpunta sa competitor who's also within that area kasi siguro mas mataas ang sahod, 'di ba? Now my question is, lilipat ba kayo? Susundan niyo ba yung go-to stylist niyo? Okay? If your answer is yes, and that is what I mean by people would rather deal with people than businesses. And this is especially true if what we're offering is a service. And this now makes sense, rather this now makes sense, especially dahil ang ino-offer natin is service, 'di ba? Whether you're a virtual assistant, whether you're a general VA, or a social media manager, or a project manager, or ano pa, customer service or a telemarketer, what we're offering is a service. So yon, and that is where personal branding becomes more important. Okay. Okay. So now, what makes up our personal brand? Okay. So as you can see there, it's made up now of our skills and expertise. It's also made up of our certifications, our credentials, the licenses, diba? The awards that we received. And it's also made up of our passion and interests. It's also made up of our personality, and more importantly, it's also made up of our core values and beliefs. Okay? Pero, more often than not, dito lang tayo when we build our personal brand, especially those who already have a basic understanding. When we build our personal brand online, nagfo-focus lang tayo. We have the tendency to focus just on the skills and the expertise, on the work experience, and also on the certification, credentials, the licenses that we receive, the training that we receive, diba? The recognition that we receive. And if you think about it, because we live in digital world, competition becomes even tougher. So imagine if you will just focus on skills and expertise and on the certifications when you build your personal brand, what do you think are the chances for you to stand out if you just focus on these two aspects? Diba? Think about that. I mean, especially those, if you are just starting out, for sure meron din diyang iba na nag-a-apply din who have started way way ahead than you. So what will now be your strategy? So that is now where the other aspects of personal branding come in: your passion, your personality, your core values and beliefs. Okay. Now, why is it important to create a personal brand? Okay. Of course, first, as I mentioned earlier, it's to cut through the digital noise and to stand out from the competition, and of course to gain clarity on who we are so that we don't end up confused, or so we don't end up confusing the client that we want to attract. Also, it's to attract opportunities, whether it's in the form of employers, clients, customers, instead of always chasing them. And what I mean by chasing them is when we just always apply. There's nothing wrong with applying because, of course, there I know that there are a lot of online I mean freelance marketplaces online. I mean there's Upwork, there's online jobs, marami pang iba. So ito yung mga platforms na nag-a-apply tayo because all of the freelance job postings are there. But wouldn't it be great if we also have the option to attract them rather than always chase after them by means of application? Because if you think about it, pag mag apply ka rin naman sa kanila, for sure they will look you up online. And it's good that they have, meron silang makikita other than the resume that you have submitted to them. Okay? That gives you an advantage. And then another, of course, is to leave a meaningful digital footprint that your market can resonate with. Okay? And then last, question mark muna because i-discuss natin yan ngayon. Okay? Ano kaya itong last? Ito na yon. It's, dito na tayo papasok sa second topic natin, why our personal brand should have a story. So as you can see there, people want to know you because they want to find out if they can trust you. Again, people would want to know you because they want to find out if they can trust you. I mean, let's face it, um, with the information that's easily accessible with a single tap or click, ang lagi nating nagiging concern is kung worth it ba, kung mapagkakatiwalaan ba. And this is usually the common behavior when we purchase a product online, di ba? I mean, before we go ahead, example, Shopee or Lazada, sino yung mga nag-11-11 dyan? Diba? Before we even purchase a product online, tinitingnan natin yung mga reviews, diba? It's not always the case that we base our decision just on the price alone. Tinitingnan natin yung reviews dun sa product na yon, diba? Kung nung nag-order ba yung ibang mga customers, if they were satisfied, diba? Because dun natin we want to know first. We do that, ganun yung behavior natin because inaano natin kung worth it ba, dun pumapasok kung mapagkakatiwalaan ba itong seller na ito. Diba? Not just in Lazada, but even those dun sa mga nagbibenta online sa social media. Diba? So trust is really an important factor, and that's where your personal brand plays a big role in helping you establish that, the trust. Okay? And remember that trust is the most important currency in today's digital world. You may have heard or read somewhere that attention daw is the most important currency in today's digital world. While attention may may somehow get your one foot in the so-called door to opportunity, but in terms of conversion between attention and trust, which of the two do you think holds more water? which of the two do you think bears more weight? Is it attention or trust? Ba? So always remember, trust is the most important currency in today's digital world. Okay? So going back to what I told you earlier as to why it's important to build a personal brand. So again, it's to cut through the digital noise, to gain clarity, to attract opportunities, to leave a meaningful digital footprint, and lastly, at ito yung kaka-discuss lang natin, it's to build trust. And it's probably the most important reason why you should create a personal brand, especially if you want to attract opportunities. Okay, so ito na. So to earn trust, you need to tell your story. Your personal brand should have a story. Because otherwise, especially if your understanding of personal brand is pretty basic at this point, it might just end up as a mere online profile. And again, you have the competition to think about still. Okay? So, what will actually make your personal brand more meaningful is your story. Besides, that is also what makes us unique, our own story. Okay? So now let me introduce to you the four-step process to creating your personal brand. I actually call this the gift method because the letters of the gift, GIFT, each letter stands for something. First is get to know yourself. It's also what I call as getting your brand baseline. Then second, I means identify your target client or your ideal client. And then F, after you've you've learned who you are on step one, and after you've identified who your target client is, you should now be able to do step three, which is to find alignment and clarity. And last, of course, once you've done step three, you should now be able to tell your story. Okay, let's get into it one by one. First, get to know yourself. Okay, this step actually allows you to gain better understanding of who you are as a brand. I mean, by knowing yourself, you bring out who you are, you bring out your authenticity, and you use that to help you be the face of your business. Because let's face it, as freelancers, the business that we offer are actually our skills. That's because yun yung services na ino-offer natin, 'di ba? So that's the first step. Now, um, just briefly, I just created a simple activity just for you to get a clearer understanding of this first step. I want you now to identify the skills that you have right now. Call this as sort of a mini skill set inventory, and I call the skills as your can do. So right now, the top of your head, what are the three to five skills that you can do, okay, which you can offer as services to clients? I mean, data entry ba yan? Customer service ba yan? Project management ba yan? Social media management ba yan? So just list them. Just list them. Three to five. Okay? And whatever that you put there, that would be called your can do. Okay? Then after that, after identifying what your skills are, from those skills, I want you now to pick which of these are your love to do. Okay. I'm asking this because it's not necessarily the case that when you can do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you love doing it, 'di ba? Example, I I did this PowerPoint presentation. I could say somehow that I know PowerPoint. I can do PowerPoint. I guess I have basic skills on PowerPoint. But do I love doing PowerPoint presentations? Not necessarily. What I love doing is teaching people using PowerPoint. That's what I'm passionate about. Okay. So again, from your can do, try to pick out which skills you're passionate about, which ones from your can do, which of those are your love to do, or which one is your love to do. Okay. And then after that, because now we've already established earlier that our personal brand is not just about our skills and experience, but also our core values. I will share with you later on what yung common na core values, so you can pick which ones resonate with you. But for now, I also want you to factor in your personality when you create your personal brand. Now, why is this important? Here's the thing: most client nowadays, actually, I think all of them already. Anyway, most client nowadays are aware, okay, are aware that it's easy to learn a skill because of the internet. I mean, with Google and YouTube and the existence of ebooks, it's easy to learn a skill. And and oftentimes clients base their hiring decision if if the personality um, if the personality of the person that they'll be hiring is somehow complementing to their own personality. So, and in the same manner, I'm pretty sure that you also have your own preference as far as your clients, your preferred client's personality is concerned, right? So this is now where factoring personality comes in handy. I know that there are a lot of personality tests out there. There's the Myers Briggs, there's the 16 personality test, there's also the DISC personality test. If you're from HR, I'm pretty sure that you know what I'm talking about. But one simple but accurate personality test that I've discovered recently is the color code personality test, and this was conceptualized by Dr. Taylor Hartman. If you want, you can actually look him up on YouTube. He actually did a TEDx talk about this, and he says, and let me just share with you briefly. Sabi niya, there are four types of personality daw. Merong red personality, may blue personality, may yellow, and then may white. So yun yung apat na yon. The red ones, these are the ones sinasabi ni Dr. Taylor Hartman na born leaders daw. Born leaders daw sila. They more often than not na syempre gusto nila na susunod sila, but then if you disappoint them, they don't dwell on it, they just move on, ganun sila. They don't stay angry for long. Then yung mga blue personality type daw naman, they are the most nurturing daw of all personalities, but they have this preference na they want things done in a certain manner. So in terms, I guess, of organizing things, in terms of creating processes, they want things done in a particular manner. Ganun daw ang mga blue people. And ang ibang personalities hindi ganon. And they are, yeah, they're the most caring, they're the most nurturing. And if there's one thing that they particularly hate, they hate being lied to. So yun yung distinct dun sa blue personality, because the blue personality are the most loyal of all. So big deal sa kanila pag may nagsinungaling sa kanila. Ngayon, yung white personality naman, sila yung tinatawag na peacemaker kasi nga white. Sila yung peacemaker among all of the four types of personality, and they are pretty much the neutral type of person. They won't take sides even in the simplest situation. I mean, if you ask them if they prefer pizza or burger, they would just say anything, any will do. Ganon sila. And then last, with the yellow personality naman, these are the ones that are not stressed daw. Simply because they are the cause of stress. Dahil nga, they are pretty much always in a cheerful disposition. They have a charismatic aura, and they always want to be around people. So there. So now going back to the core values, these are the standard core values. This is just a short list. Marami pang iba dyan. So it's important that you identify what your core values are, because you would want to work with a client who has the same core values as yours, especially if you want to build a meaningful and long relationship. And in the same manner, clients would are also interested to know what your core values are, because ito yung makakapag-establish ng trust. Okay, so there, as you can see there, there's accountability, adventure, approachability, authenticity, balance, collaboration, community, education, experience, family. Which of these resonate with you? You have to factor that in your personal brand, especially in your personal brand story. Because, like I said, there's always competition to think about. But in terms of earning trust, your core values will help you establish trust with your client. And there's also, yeah, optimism, professionalism, punctuality, self awareness, sincerity, transparency, wisdom. So, which is which? Okay. So, moving forward, next step is your ideal client. Who exactly are you trying to help? Okay. So, what industry or niche are they from? And then, how well do you know them? And what problem do they have that you can or want to solve? Okay. So, like the first step, I'll just convert this again into a table so that it's easier for you. So, again, what industry or niche are they from? Most likely, let's say before you decided to start to work from home, let's say you were from the real estate industry. So most likely you would want to work with a client who's from the same industry kasi may alam ka na doon, 'di ba? So identify that. And then what problems and pain points do your clients have that you like solving, that you're naturally good at solving, or that you want to solve? Then of course, what are their core values? It may be a struggle, especially kung hindi mo pa kilala yung client mo, but then if you're already eyeing a particular industry or a particular company, you can easily find this in their website. Usually nakalagay doon kung anong core values nila, pati yung kung ano yung culture nila. Because if their core values and their culture resonate with you, then you can, most likely you can easily identify with them. You would be tagged as a good fit for them, okay, for their team. Okay, so yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, and then once you've gone through the first and second step, which is knowing yourself and then knowing your client, you should now be ready to find alignment and clarity, because knowing who you are and knowing who you want to help is just half the battle. You should find the alignment. And like the first and second, meron lang tayong maikling table. This is now the merge version of the activity of or the table that we showed in step 1 and step 2. Okay? So for the client, what's your pain point? What's their pain point? And then ikaw naman, what skills and service do you have that can address this pain point? Then, of course, what industry are they in? What industry are you in? Yung core values and yung culture. I know that for some of you, this may be easier to do, but I just have to show this process, especially for those who have zero knowledge in personal branding. I just want those with zero knowledge in personal branding to undergo this process para mas magain nila yung clarity. That's why we have this structured process. Okay? So now that you've found the alignment and clarity, you basically know who you are, what type of client that you want to work with. And once you find that alignment and clarity, you should now be able to tell your personal brand story, because using all these important ingredients, meaning all the things that you've discovered about yourself in step 1 and all the things that you have identified in step 2 and as well as step 3, you can now you call these the ingredients that you need for creating your authentic personal brand story. And because you'll be incorporating this using using the different storytelling frameworks. Now for this part, like I said, this is while this topic is how to craft your personal brand story. This is not a storytelling webinar, or this is not a writing webinar, or a writing class, but this is more about showing you the important ingredients which we just shared tonight, the important ingredients that you need for your personal brand story, as well as the right framework that you can use for incorporating these ingredients for your personal brand story. Okay? Kasi I had to share this with you because more often than not, pag pinapakwento sa atin, 'di ba, kung anong storya natin. I mean, pag tinatanong sa atin, who are you? What's your story? Ang nakasanayan natin lagi na way ng pagkukwento natin is based on our timeline, 'di ba? Mula nung pagkabata tayo, nag-aral tayo, nag-graduate tayo, nagkatrabaho tayo or nagkaasawa, nagkanegosyo, 'di ba? 'Yun yung nakagisna natin way nung pagkukwento or ng pagso-storytelling. But if you think about it, if you just simply follow that framework or pattern, I mean, what are the chances that it will resonate? What are the chances that it will resonate to our target client? Especially pag nakasulat ito sa profile natin. Chances are, it will not resonate with them kasi hindi natin sila isinama as ingredient dun sa storyang yon. Which is why we had to go through this gift process or the gift method. Okay, clear? Okay. So now that you know what the important ingredients are, let me now show you a couple storytelling frameworks that you can use. Okay, and here, but before that, this is something very important to remember. So it may be your personal brand story, but your target audience or your target client or ideal client should be a part of it. Okay, so again, it may be your personal brand story, but your target client should be a part of your story. Okay, so how do we do that? So I'll show you now a couple of storytelling frameworks that you can use. You can use it either in the form of a vlog, if you want to be creative, if you want to create a personal branding video, or if you want if you're good at writing and you want to create a story and put it in the about section of your LinkedIn profile, or if you want to um, write an article and have it published on different online publications, diba? Okay. So first, the first framework is the most common one, and it's called the Who Am I framework. So sa Who Am I daw, this is not merely about business titles, achievements, credentials, yung sinasabi natin kanina na wag lang skills. Wag lang skills and certificates and trainings and experience. Um, it should be more about stories of your core values. Basically, what's your origin story? What made you become the person that you are today? You basically need to bring out the authenticity, because at the end of the day, you would want to attract again those people who have the same core values as yours. Diba? So we attract who we are. Okay. And then, of course, the more human, the better. I guess I'll just have to remind you that you have to, in terms of factoring in your that ingredient um, about your ideal client, you try to bring it out by aside from bringing out your own core values, because uh, once bringing out yung core values nyo, ang gusto nyo, yung same client din yung client din with the same core values ma-attract nyo. But in terms of when you share your skills, you try to bring out why more of the why you decided to hone those skills. You try to answer the question, what is the bigger problem that you are trying to solve with that skill? Who are the people that you are trying to help with that skill? Okay? And then next, ito naman yung tinatawag na educational or process story. When we say educational, it's not along the context of academics. It's called educational because this is where we educate our target client about our process, how we go about our process in terms of delivering our services. Okay? So basically, it should answer the question, how does our service work? How do we produce results? Okay, sorry about that. Let me back up a bit. Okay, and how do we produce results? I guess what I'm trying to say is, again, going back, while we will now be focusing on our target client, let's not forget that, again, there's competition to think about. So, syempre, meron diyang competitor na freelancer who might be, let's say, applying for the same job, 'di ba? Na they might have more experience than you. And while they may be saying that, let's say, they have 7 to 10 years experience, you can now try to be creative through your story by sharing the process involved on how you deliver your services. Basically, it should be able to answer the question, how do you provide an end-to-end delightful client experience? First and foremost, let's say, for those who want to establish themselves as a virtual assistant, how do you go about with your onboarding process? Diba? Then how do you go about organizing the emails? What tools do you use? Take them through that journey on how you go about things in order to ensure a seamless process. Let's say, because if you make the client picture on how kung ano yung magandang experience na magkakaroon sila when they work with you. So once you're able to um, give them a better picture through your story, then you increase your chances of being the preferred candidate against those who just say that they have 7 to 10 years experience of being a VA. So think about that. Okay, so moving forward, here's another pro tip. For those of you who want to write, you can also share your process story by establishing your thought leadership. So aside from just posting on your social media profiles like LinkedIn, you can also have them published on high ranking sites like Medium, Thrive Global, and also Marketing in Asia, which I am a part of, by the way. And when you contribute to any of these sites, you will, if you think about it, you will be creating your own author profile. So imagine this. This actually this actually also gives you an edge against those who already have XX experience, diba? Because once you have an author profile or an author bio on online publications, when clients look you up and they see that you are writing articles, you come off as an expert in your field. You come off as a thought leader in your industry because you wrote something about it. Okay? So make sure when you create your own author profile or author bio, make sure to include info about you that would be helpful to the market that you want to attract. And then, should you decide that you want to write on Marketing in Asia, you can do so by visiting marketinginasia.com slash forward slash write for us. Okay, so yeah, it's a good way for you to somehow be ahead, especially, I mean, rather than, let's say, rather than just attending different online courses or free webinars, which is good, by the way. Pero like I said, you will still need to establish your personal brand para makilala ka for the new skill that you have gained. And one way is to write about it. Okay? Okay. Then, let me just leave this to you. Stories connect and attract people. So imagine what this can do for you if your personal brand has one. And of course, the best stories are those that come from the heart, because those that come from the heart are more authentic. And these are the ones that will most likely resonate with the target audience or the target client that you want to attract. And then this is something that that would come in handy as well. Content first, tool second, always. I just have to remind this because more often than not, we get so overwhelmed with the different tools, different platforms, when it's a better strategy to create that content first, meaning our story. And once we nail that story, we can easily repurpose it either in the form of an article or a vlog, diba? Nail that content first, and then once that's established, repurpose it and then publish it over and over again on different accounts that you have. Okay. And then if you want to um, get serious about your personal brand, I have actually an upcoming book called Craft Your Personal Brand Story. But for now, I am giving away the free chapter, the first chapter rather, the first chapter for free. And you can easily download it from my website at jencajucom.asia. Again, go ahead and download now your free chapter at jenkahukom.asia. There are, kung yung mga activities kanina, maikli yun, doon sa free chapter mas in-depth. Okay? And I really designed it that way so that, I mean, kahit na you don't decide to buy the book, at least, 'di ba? You already have a solid foundation with the free chapter alone. But of course, if you're really serious with crafting your personal brand story, then that's um when the whole book comes in handy. Okay? So again, my name is Jennette Cajucom. You can call me Jen. I am a multi-passionate CEO branding professional. I help entrepreneurs craft a meaningful, authentic, and human-centered brand. I'm also the Philippines editor for marketing in Asia. I'm I've been in a couple of TED Talks and I'll be doing one again next year, hopefully. And I'm also the podcast host of Your Brand, Your Story. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much for staying with me. If you have any questions, you can ask them now in the comments, I guess. Okay. So, yes. Thank you. Yeah, hi, Virgie from Davao City. Kumusta kayo dyan? Thank you as well, Juliet. Thank you. Jel, watching from Bulacan. Okay. So, any questions so far? Okay. Uy, merong isang nagsabi marami daw siyang kapangalan. So, there's also watching Len from Cebu. Hi. Watching from Hong Kong, Annabelle. So, any questions so far? Okay. Thank you, Corazon Avila is watching from Laguna. Joanna, thank you. Thank you, Christine. Thank you as well. Christine Casten. Chang, thank you as well. So I hope that the webinar was clear. I know it only covered the basics. So again, if you're really serious in building your personal brand, which I really, really recommend, because nowadays the competition is becoming tougher each day, especially na dumadami na ang mga freelancers. So if you want to have an edge, start building your personal brand to attract clients. Okay, so download your free chapter at jenkahukom.asia. Okay, thank you as well, Trina Loresca. Happy to share anytime. Okay. And by the way, for those, I also do one-on-one coaching. If you're interested in this, I do 60-minute personal branding coaching. Feel free to email me at freeconsult@jenkahukom.asia. That's freeconsult at jenkahukom.asia. And yeah, we can also connect. I also have a Facebook page, the Jen Kahukom. Okay. Thank you as well, Rosemary. Thank you. Ingat dyan sa Puerto Princesa. Okay. Thank you as well, Catherine. Again, thank you. Thank you all so much. Mukhang napa-extend ako sa pag-explain. But thank you for staying with me. I mean, please continue to stay indoors. Keep safe. Okay. And keep the faith. If you don't have any questions anymore, so yeah, I guess that's all. Yeah. Have a rest, take our rest, and just email me if you have any questions. Thank you again, MK Bertulfo, and to the whole team of FH Moms and to the whole community. Yes. Yep.